Welcome to English Unlocked with Audivy. I'm Emma.
And I'm James, joining you from the Audivy channel.
Today, we're kicking off an exciting series all about having easy, everyday conversations in English.
It's a skill many learners aim for, but sometimes it feels a bit daunting, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. We're here to show you how approachable it can be, starting with why these chats are so valuable.
That's right. Many English learners focus heavily on grammar rules or just reading.
And while those are super important, you're saying that casual conversations offer something extra?
Precisely. They're like mini practice sessions for real life, Emma.
Oh, I love that image. Mini practice. That makes perfect sense.
You get to try out new phrases and expressions in a real, low-pressure environment.
And it helps you sound so much more natural, doesn't it? Less like you're reciting from a book.
Exactly. You pick up common, natural expressions that textbooks might not cover.
Like what kind of expressions? Give us an example, James.
Well, how's it going is a classic. It's a much more natural greeting than always saying, "How are you?" in casual settings.
Oh, how's it going is brilliant. So simple, but it instantly makes you sound more relaxed and friendly.
It really does. Another common one is, "What have you been up to?"
What have you been up to? What does that mean exactly?
It simply means, "What have you been doing recently?" For example, you could say, "Not much, just working on a project."
Or, I've been learning to bake. That's a lovely, simple answer.
Exactly. Using these phrases helps build your confidence for everyday interactions.
That makes perfect sense. But I know a big blocker for many learners is fear.
Oh, the fear of making mistakes. It's probably the most common one I hear about.
It really is paralyzing. That feeling of freezing up, thinking, what if I sound silly?
Totally. People get nervous about their grammar, their pronunciation, or just finding the right words in the moment.
And sometimes that fear makes them avoid speaking English altogether, which is a shame.
It is, because speaking is how you truly progress, and it's a completely understandable fear, of course.
Yes, nobody wants to feel embarrassed. They might even get stuck trying to translate everything perfectly in their head.
But we need to shift that mindset. The key is to think of conversation as connecting with someone, not as a grammar test.
Connecting, not perfection. That's a powerful message, James.
It really is. When you're chatting, the main goal isn't perfect grammar. It's to understand each other, to share ideas.
So if I make a small grammatical error, it's not the end of the world.
Absolutely not. The other person usually understands your message anyway.
That's very reassuring. They're focused on the overall meaning, not just the individual words.
Exactly. Most native speakers are incredibly patient and understanding. They appreciate you trying to communicate.
That takes so much pressure off, knowing they're on your side, so to speak.
Yes. For instance, if you say, "I go to park yesterday," instead of "I went to the park yesterday," your listener will still understand you visited the park.
The core message is clear, even with a tiny slip. That's such a good example.
And remember, conversation itself is a skill, just like riding a bike or learning a new sport.
Oh, I like that comparison. You don't just jump on a bike and cycle perfectly the first time, do you?
Precisely. You wobble, you might fall a few times, but you keep practicing.
And with each try, you get a little bit steadier, a little bit smoother.
Exactly. The more you talk in English, the better you become at it.
It's like building muscle memory, but for your mouth and your brain.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's not just about knowing words, but about using them smoothly and automatically.
So consistent effort is key, not just raw talent.
Absolutely. Think about practicing small talk as an example.
Small talk. That's a useful phrase. Can you explain what it means for our listeners?
It means light, informal conversation about everyday things, like the weather or weekend plans, not a deep discussion.
Ah, so it's not super serious, just easy, casual chat.
Exactly. You practice asking questions like, "How was your weekend?" or "Any plans for tomorrow?"
And you keep doing it until those phrases feel completely natural and easy to say.
Exactly. It's this kind of consistent practice that makes you feel truly comfortable and fluent.
So knowing that conversation is a skill we can actively develop is a fantastic starting point.
It really is. It empowers you to take action.
But what about the actual beginning of these chats? How do we actually start talking without feeling awkward?
That's a fantastic question, Emma, and it's exactly what we'll be diving into next.
Exactly. That's the big hurdle for many, isn't it? That initial moment.
It absolutely is. And the good news is, you don't need anything super complicated to start. Let's begin with simple openers.
Simple openers. I like the sound of that. What's your go-to, James?
My absolute favorite, and one that works almost everywhere, is simply, "How's your day going?"
Oh, that's so straightforward. I often use that myself. It's low pressure, isn't it?
Precisely. It's an easy way to break the ice, to start a conversation, especially with someone you don't know well. It invites a brief response, but leaves room for more, like, "It's going well, thanks. Just heading to lunch."
And it works in so many contexts, with a barista, a colleague, or even someone you briefly bump into.
Right. Another excellent one is just a simple comment about the time of day, like, "Morning, how's your week shaping up?" Shaping up means how something is developing or progressing, so you're asking how their week is turning out so far.
That's a lovely, friendly way to ask. It feels more personal than just, "How's your week?" It makes you sound genuinely interested in their reply, which is key for connecting.
Absolutely. Authenticity goes a long way. But sometimes you want to be a bit more specific.
Yes, sometimes "how's your day" feels a little too generic, even if it's effective.
That's where observing your surroundings comes in. This is a powerful tool for conversation starters.
Ah, so looking around and finding something in common with the other person, or something interesting in the environment?
Exactly. For example, if you're both waiting in a long line, you could say, "Wow, this line is moving slowly today, isn't it?"
That's brilliant because you're both experiencing the same thing. It's a shared moment.
Or if you're in a park and see something cool, you might say, "Look at that dog, it's so fluffy." The key is to make it a light observation, not a deep philosophical question. It's just an opener.
So it's about noticing something and then inviting the other person to share their perspective on it. Like if someone has a really cool accessory. "I love your scarf. Where did you find it?"
Perfect. That's a great example. You've noticed something, complimented it, and asked a simple question. It shows genuine interest, and people usually appreciate that.
And it's not creepy, right? It's about being present and making a positive observation.
Not at all. It's natural human interaction. As long as it's respectful and light, it's fine. The next step, once you've broken the ice with an opener, is to keep the conversation rolling with open-ended questions.
This is where I think many learners get stuck. They ask a question, get a short answer, and then silence.
Precisely. And that's usually because the question was a closed-ended one. A closed-ended question can be answered with a simple yes or no, or a very short factual answer.
So something like, "Did you have a good weekend?" You can just say yes or no.
Exactly. Instead, an open-ended question encourages the other person to elaborate, to share more. For instance, instead of "Did you have a good weekend?" try, "What did you get up to this weekend?"
Oh, that makes a huge difference. "What did you get up to" implies they should tell you a story.
Or instead of "Do you like this music?" you could ask, "What kind of music are you into?"
That's such a practical tip. It gives the other person space to share their interests and opens up new avenues for discussion.
It's about inviting a narrative rather than just seeking a fact.
I find it also helps me learn more about the other person, which makes the conversation naturally more engaging.
And it gives you more information to work with, helping you ask follow-up questions and keep the chat flowing.
So these are all really useful strategies for what some people call small talk.
Ah, small talk. Many people, especially English learners, sometimes feel like small talk is insignificant or a waste of time.
I know exactly what you mean. It sometimes feels like you're just talking about nothing important.
But that's a myth we need to debunk. Small talk isn't small in importance at all. It's actually a crucial stepping stone.
A stepping stone? Can you explain what you mean by that?
Sure. Think of a stepping stone as something that helps you move forward or progress to the next level. Small talk is like those stones that help you cross a river. It gets you from not knowing someone to a deeper, more meaningful conversation.
That's a great analogy. So it's not the destination, but the path to getting there.
Exactly. It's how you build rapport, find common ground, and gauge if you even want to have a deeper conversation. You use those simple openers and open-ended questions to explore shared interests without any pressure.
So if someone mentions they spent their weekend hiking, that's your cue to say, "Oh, I love hiking. Have you ever been to local park?" Precisely. You've just found a shared interest, and now you're moving from just talking about the weather to talking about something you both enjoy. And it's how friendships and connections are formed, really, starting with those seemingly small interactions. It absolutely is. It's building trust and comfort, one simple phrase at a time. So don't dismiss small talk as unimportant. It's an essential part of the conversational journey. That's right. And the more you practice these initial steps, the easier and more natural they become. It's all about getting comfortable with those first few sentences. We're really laying the groundwork here for making communication feel effortless. And finding that confidence to initiate is half the battle. It really is. And once you're past that initial barrier, it gets much smoother. So we've talked about starting simple, observing your surroundings, and asking open-ended questions.
And understanding that small talk is valuable. All of these build on each other.
I'm already feeling more ready to chat with strangers after these tips.
That's the goal, building that confidence, one step at a time.
But what about when the conversation actually gets going? How do you really keep it flowing smoothly?
That's a fantastic next step, Emma. Once you've started, the next challenge is to maintain the momentum and show you're really listening.
That's such a great point, James. Showing you're really listening. Because it's not just about hearing the words, is it?
Exactly, Emma. That's where the idea of active listening comes in. It means giving the other person your full attention, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
So it's more than just being physically present. It's about being mentally engaged in what they're saying.
Absolutely. Think about it like really hanging on every word. That's an idiom we use when someone is listening very carefully and eagerly, wanting to catch every detail.
Oh, I like that. Hanging on every word. Like when you're completely engrossed in a story. You're not checking your phone or planning your next reply.
Precisely. Active listening means you're processing their words, paying attention to their tone, and even their body language. It helps you understand the deeper meaning.
And when you're actively listening, it naturally leads to better follow-up questions, I imagine.
You've hit the nail on the head. When you truly listen, you can ask questions that show genuine interest rather than just generic ones.
So instead of just a simple, "oh, okay," what kind of follow-up questions can we use?
Well, if someone mentions they visited a new city, instead of, "Was it good?" you could say, "That sounds interesting. What was the most surprising thing you saw there?"
I see. Or if they talk about a challenge at work, you could ask, "How did that make you feel?" Or "What steps did you take to overcome it?"
Exactly. These kinds of questions encourage them to elaborate and share more, really digging a little deeper into the conversation. It keeps the ball rolling.
Keeping the ball rolling is a great phrase for this. It means to keep a process or conversation moving forward. It feels much more natural than just firing off unrelated questions.
It really does. It shows you care about what they're saying. Another good one is, "What was that like?" It's simple, but very effective for getting more details.
I'm picturing myself trying these out. So we're actively listening or asking follow-up questions. What if something they say actually reminds us of something in our own life?
That's a perfect opportunity to chime in, meaning to join the conversation with your own thoughts. But remember to keep it brief. You want to connect, not hijack the conversation.
Ah, so it's not about switching the topic to ourselves completely. It's more like a brief connection point.
Precisely. You could say something like, "Oh, that reminds me of when I," and share a very short, relevant anecdote. Then gently bring the focus back to them.
So, for instance, if they're talking about a difficult commute, I could say, "I totally get that. My journey yesterday was a nightmare too." And then ask, "What usually makes your commute better?"
Perfect example. You briefly shared, showed empathy, and then passed the conversational ball back. That's a healthy exchange.
That makes so much sense. It feels less like an interrogation and more like a shared experience.
Exactly. It shows you're relatable. But what about those moments when there's a natural lull in the conversation? Those silences.
Oh, the dreaded silence. I always feel like I have to fill the void immediately. I panic and try to think of anything to say.
Many people feel that way, Emma. But pauses are completely natural in any conversation. Don't feel pressured to fill the void, which means to quickly say something to avoid silence.
So it's okay for there to be a moment of quiet, It doesn't mean the conversation is over or awkward?
Not at all. Sometimes people just need a moment to think, or they might be looking for the right words. Allow a brief silence. It can actually make the conversation feel more relaxed.
That's a huge relief to hear. But if it goes on for too long, what's a graceful way to re-engage?
You can gently loop back to something they said earlier. Like, anyway, you were mentioning your trip to the city. What was your favorite food there?
Ah, so you're not introducing a brand new topic out of nowhere. You're picking up a thread that was already there.
Exactly. Or even a simple, so, back to what we were talking about earlier. It's smooth and shows you remember their points.
That's brilliant. It feels much less intimidating than trying to come up with a completely new subject on the spot.
Right. It allows for natural ebb and flow, just like any good conversation. You don't have to force it.
These tips really help take the pressure off. So we've talked about really listening, asking good follow-up questions, briefly sharing our own stuff, and even handling pauses.
And all these elements work together to create a more engaging and memorable interaction. It builds rapport, which is a feeling of connection and understanding.
Building that rapport is definitely the goal, making those connections. So what happens when we've built that rapport and we want to maybe introduce a slightly different topic?
That's a great question, Emma. Once you've established a comfortable vibe, it's natural to explore new areas of conversation.
Exactly. We don't want to just stick to one thing forever, right? But how do we do it without making it feel forced or awkward?
The key is to think about universally safe and relatable topics. These are subjects almost everyone can talk about without feeling uncomfortable.
Safe and relatable. That makes sense. So what are some of those go-to topics you'd recommend?
Hobbies are fantastic. People generally enjoy talking about what they do for fun. You could ask, do you have any interesting hobbies? Or what do you like to do in your free time?
Oh, that's smart. And if they mention something, it gives you a lot to follow up on. Like, oh, you like hiking? What's your favorite trail?
Precisely. Another great one is food. Everyone eats, and most people have opinions about different cuisines or local restaurants.
That's so true. I mean, who doesn't love talking about a good meal? You could say, have you tried that new Italian place downtown?
Or what kind of food are you in the mood for tonight? It's a very natural segue into conversation.
Segue here means a smooth transition or move from one topic to another. Very useful.
Absolutely. And then there's travel. Even if someone hasn't traveled far, they might have dreams or memories of local trips.
I love that. Have you traveled anywhere exciting recently? Or is there a place you've always dreamed of visiting?
And don't forget recent events, but keep it light, not heavy news. Think about local festivals, a big sports game, or something popular in culture.
Like, did you catch that amazing football match last night? Or, I heard about the new art exhibit. Have you been?
Exactly. These topics are easy for most people to relate to and share their thoughts on, making the conversation flow more easily.
So once we've picked a topic, how do we make sure we're really connecting and not just doing a back and forth Q&A?
That's where genuine interest and empathy come in. It's about truly listening and showing you understand their perspective, even if it's different from yours.
Genuine interest means you're really interested, not just pretending. And empathy is about understanding and sharing the feelings of another.
Right. You can show genuine interest with your body language, like nodding, making eye contact, and offering short verbal affirmations.
Like saying, that sounds fascinating, or, oh, I can imagine how that must have felt.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to share a little bit of your own experience, linking it to theirs. This creates what we call Me Too moments.
Me Too moments. I love that. It sounds like finding common ground.
That's exactly what it is. It's when you discover a shared interest or experience, which really strengthens the bond and makes the conversation more personal.
So if someone says they love a certain type of music, I could say, me too. I'm a big fan of that band.
Exactly. Or if they mention a frustrating experience, you might say, oh, I totally get that. I had a similar situation last month.
That really shifts the dynamic from just listening to a shared experience. It builds connection.
It makes the other person feel understood and less alone. It's a powerful way to move past superficial chat.
What if we're deep into one topic and I want to introduce another one without it feeling abrupt or rude?
Good question. Abrupt means sudden or unexpected. You want to make a smooth transition.
Not just suddenly changing the subject out of nowhere, right? That can feel awkward.
Right.
A great way is to find a small link to what they just said. For example, if they're talking about their garden, you could say, "Speaking of things growing, have you seen the new community garden downtown?"
Oh, that's clever. It creates a bridge between the two topics.
Or you can use phrases like, "That reminds me of," or "On a slightly different note, I was just thinking about."
So if they're talking about a movie they saw, I could say, "That reminds me, I just started reading a really interesting book."
Perfect. It's a gentle pivot, giving them a moment to shift their focus. It acknowledges their last point while introducing a new idea.
It sounds like it's all about being respectful of the current conversation while still guiding it forward.
Exactly. It's not about being tricky. It's about being thoughtful. It shows you're engaged, but also have other ideas to share.
And it prevents the conversation from getting stuck in one place, which can happen sometimes, even with interesting topics.
Definitely. This way, you keep the conversation fresh and engaging for both of you. It's like gently steering a boat, not just suddenly turning it.
That's a great analogy. Steering a boat towards new horizons, but not capsizing it.
Exactly. And these little transitions become easier with practice. You'll start to recognize opportunities more naturally.
So whether it's talking about hobbies, food, or travel, finding those Me Too moments and then smoothly changing the subject.
All these techniques help you build deeper connections and make those everyday chats far more interesting and memorable.
And that's the dream, right? To have those interesting, memorable chats. But what if someone feels a bit shy or worried about making mistakes when trying to use these techniques?
That's a very common feeling, Emma. Many English learners struggle with shyness and the fear of judgment. It's completely normal to feel that way.
So true. It feels like everyone is listening to your every word, waiting for you to mess up. How can we start to deal with that feeling?
The first step is to remember that most people are actually very supportive. They're usually focused on what they want to say or how they're coming across themselves, not on your grammar.
That's a good way to reframe it. It's not a performance, it's a conversation.
Exactly. Try to shift your mindset from "I might make a mistake" to "I'm practicing and learning." Everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers.
I like that. It's about giving yourself permission to be imperfect. And I think this leads well into a strategy we often hear: fake it till you make it.
Ah, yes, fake it till you make it. This idiom means to act confident, even if you don't feel it, in the hope that you'll eventually become genuinely confident.
So it's not about being someone you're not, but about borrowing confidence until it becomes your own?
Precisely. It's about putting on a brave face, even if you feel a little wobbly inside, meaning nervous or unsure. Try to smile, make eye contact, and speak clearly.
Like an actor getting into character. Eventually, the role feels more natural. So even if I'm nervous, I can act like I'm not.
Yes, and that external action can actually start to change your internal feelings. It's a powerful psychological trick to boost your self-assurance.
That makes a lot of sense. So we're dealing with shyness by reframing our thoughts and faking it a bit. What's another practical step we can take?
Another crucial strategy is setting small, achievable conversation goals. Don't aim to have a perfect hour-long debate right away.
I can imagine that would feel very overwhelming. So small goals, like what?
For instance, one day your goal might be to simply ask your barista, "How's your day going?" and genuinely listen to their short reply.
Just a simple exchange, not a deep dive. I like that.
Or when you're at the grocery store, try to say more than just "thank you" to the cashier. Maybe add "have a good evening."
Those are definitely tiny wins, as you often call them. Small achievements that make you feel good and build momentum.
Absolutely. Each little success, no matter how small, fuels the next. It builds your confidence without overwhelming you.
So it's about building blocks, rather than trying to build the whole house at once. And I imagine these small goals naturally lead to something else crucial: regular practice.
You've hit the nail on the head, Emma. Regular practice in daily life is absolutely essential. Language is a skill, and skills need constant repetition.
It's like learning to play an instrument, right? You can't just read the music, you have to play the notes.
Exactly. The more you use English in everyday situations, ordering food, asking for directions, chatting with colleagues, the more natural and automatic it becomes.
Even if you don't have many people to talk to, I guess you can still practice.
Definitely. You can narrate your day in English in your head or even out loud when you're alone. Describe what you're doing, what you see.
That's a great tip. It keeps your English mind active even without a conversation partner. And I think it helps us get comfortable with the language itself.
Precisely. It builds fluency and confidence for when you do have those real-life conversations. Every bit of practice counts.
And speaking of those real-life conversations, I think it's important to remember that every single one is a learning opportunity, even if it doesn't go perfectly.
100%. Don't view mistakes as failures, but as valuable feedback. Each conversation is a chance to gather data.
Gathering data. I like that. So what kind of data are we looking for?
Well, what new words did you hear? What phrases did you struggle with? Did you understand the main idea, even if some details were fuzzy?
And if you don't know a word, you can always ask, how do you say that? Or what does that mean, right?
Absolutely. Or make a mental note, look it up later, and then try to use it in your next conversation. That's active learning.
So it's about being curious and proactive, not being afraid to admit you don't know something.
Exactly. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Every time you speak, you're building your linguistic muscle.
That's a fantastic way to look at it. So, James, to sum it all up, what's the one big message you'd want our listeners to take away from this whole series?
I'd say embrace the journey of learning and communicating. Don't aim for perfection, aim for connection and progress. Every little chat helps you grow.
That's such encouraging advice. Remember, it's all about unlocking your potential, one conversation at a time.
Exactly. And we hope you've enjoyed this series on English Unlocked with Audivy.
Thank you so much for listening. For more tips and to keep improving your English, please subscribe to Audivy on YouTube.
We'll catch you next time.